Love is a way of building to a crescendo. Ride if you will, ride it with me.
Good morning, everybody. So this is the Omron IntelliSense blood pressure cuff. And what I'm going to do this morning before I get started on the coffee is I'm going to get a blood pressure reading. I like to put, well, this is how I was told to do it. I put the little dot like right there. I don't think it matters. It reads the entire thing. And then you hit this start button. It says, hello. And you put your arm comfortably to the side, and then you stay silent for as long as this thing takes. I think the batteries are going dead. So my pulse is always high. I've never had a low pulse, but 119/78, that seems pretty good. Most of the time I do it twice. Today we'll just do it once. A lot of things can affect your pulse or in your blood pressure readings. Talking can make your blood pressure go up. If you're talking to your doctor and they're like, let's do a blood pressure, and then your blood pressure is abnormally high, that could be one of the reasons. If it's just a couple of steps, I don't think it's like an intense amount. I think it's just a couple of steps maybe. Maybe instead of 119/78, you're maybe 123/80, which, you know, is still not bad. Pulse is 88. Pulse is always 88, but then again, before I start coffees and everything in the morning, really, I make sure that the area is clean, and I'm usually up and down the stairs 3 or 4 different times. Oh, okay. Well, there's that then. So, you know, the pulse rate's always high. I don't think my pulse ever gets low. But, let's see here. Yeah, but of course you would do that to me. I do have needle nose. Ooh. That's the wrong direction. Let's try this. Oh, see, there's the tab. Yeah. All right, let's go get the needle noses. So a lot of different things. You know, if you walk up steps to go to your appointment, that could raise your blood pressure a little bit. Like I said, talking can raise your blood pressure a little bit. There we go. Needle nose for the win. When you first open this bag, it smells like chocolate pudding. This is a Smorey Time, and it does. It just smells like chocolate pudding the first time you open the bag. Once you let it breathe a little bit, you get more of the marshmallowy, creamy, and the chocolate. But boy, right at the beginning, it's like a really nice Jello, just chocolate pudding. You know, the way Mom used to make with the powder and the milk. And if she didn't have milk, sometimes she tried to trick you with water, and you're like, this is disgusting. It only happened twice. just because she ran out of milk. And she's like, well, you know what? They're not going to be able to tell the difference. I'll tell you what. Children can tell the difference. Anyway. Yeah, so it's like even just sitting in the chair knowing something's coming. You know, if you're there for a shot, that can raise your blood pressure. I was sitting in a dentist chair once, and they had just started doing blood pressures at the dentist. And she's like, is your blood pressure always high? And I said, when I'm sitting in a dentist chair about to get my teeth filled, probably. So, I mean, you just gotta look at your situation. If you're at home and you have something you can test your blood pressure with, generally, the best thing to do, I've been told, is after you've done whatever you needed to do, sit down for about 5 minutes. Give yourself a little bit of calm. You know, don't look at an iPad, don't look at your phone, don't watch the TV. Just kind of sit and breathe. And then do your blood pressure. And it should be about as accurate as it can be. So that's a tip that I had gotten. And that's never happened when I've gone to the doctor. The doctor's like, come into the room. Actually, it's the nurse. The nurse is like, come into the room, sit down, let's get your blood pressure. So I've already walked not only up the stairs, but back into the room after they've taken my weight, which is enough to raise anyone's blood pressure. And then, going back into the doctor's office in and of itself can be a little daunting. It's gotten better over the years. I mean, there was a point in my life when I didn't have a doctor or a dentist. It was a long time because I didn't have insurance, and it's like I can't have my teeth fixed. I can brush my teeth at home, or I've got a pain in a place, but I can't afford to go to the doctor. I don't have insurance, because companies can get away with employing you part-time and not getting you insurance. I don't know if it's the same now, but in the late 90s, early 2000s through 2010, basically, when I had all the part-time jobs, they didn't have to give me any kind of health insurance at all. So, and my health suffered because of it. So, I mean, if you can't afford it, there's nothing you can really do. And I definitely couldn't afford it because I was barely paycheck to paycheck. Back when apartments were $700 a month. Utilities on top of that were maybe $100, $150 a month. And then you had to eat, and you were getting paid, $800 every 3 weeks, maybe every 2 weeks. It was really weird. The pay structure when I worked at the one radio station, it was every, the 15th, and then whatever the last day the month fell on, like the 30th, 31st, something like that. And that pay structure was incredibly difficult. Because there, if you're every 2 weeks, there are some months where you get 3 paychecks, which is kind of nice. You're never a month without 2 paychecks. You are always getting 2 paychecks per month, but some months you get 3 because, it's a longer month. And those always felt like free months, where you get paid at the beginning of the month, and then you get paid at the end of the month to settle both sides of those bills. But then in the middle, you get a nice bonus. Even though you worked for it, it still feels like, hey, look, I got bonus money this month. That's cool. So that's always what that kind of felt like. And I didn't really get into that until I got into corporate stuff with when I worked for MI Homes. That was a really fun and interesting feeling. I guess the switchboard, I was full-time at the switchboard, and that's kind of where my health journey started when I was at the OSU Health Medical Center switchboard. Because basically, the healthcare there, you could just walk in, get seen, and then leave, and then the insurance would take care of it. So, I mean, at that point, that's the kind of insurance that they had, was that I never paid for anything because we were a hospital system and our insurance covered everything in the hospital system. Dental was always weird, but dental has always been weird. They're part of the Ohio State network, but they have their own system. You still can't pay bills online. You either have to send in a check, fill out one of those Visa cards, and then send it in with your Visa card number, or you have to call them on the phone and wait in line to do billing. No online bill pay. They're still not part of my chart. I left them behind several months ago because the insurance, they were out of network for our new insurance. So I moved to Matt's dentist, who is, doing fine. I've been there twice, once for a cleaning, and then they had me come in for a filling, and the filling was super easy. I'd never been so numbed in my life, to be honest with you. I was numbed like crazy. I couldn't feel the side of my tongue for about an hour and a half after the procedure. It was crazy. So, but I was glad for it. I didn't want to feel any of that drilling and filling. Who wants to feel that? Unless you're that guy from Little Shop of Horrors, played by Bill Murray. Anyway, because he was into that shit. I don't have a glass. That's okay. Let's get this started. Yeah, so my vibe check. That's my vibe check this morning. My pulse. And pulse is always high, but my blood pressure is in good stead. So it's my vibe check this morning. I thought it would be nice to start with a good vibe check. And I am a state of clear right now. Briefly, I will say that I think that the tariff on Colombia has been settled. And the people that are being unfortunately deported that I can't do anything about right now will hopefully now be treated humanely when that thing happens now. And then hopefully at some point in the very near future we can get back to a point where we can work this out better. Right now, unfortunately, is not that time. We have to tread water and ride waves. And to be quite honest with you, the best way, and Indy knows this, the best way to put it to him is to not give him the satisfaction. He can write as many executive orders as he wants to. I'm still here in my house. You know, let him write. Be that person that says, don't give the prick the satisfaction, sir. You know, I mean, and that's the only advice I can give, really, that's been helping me. You know, don't give them the satisfaction. Continue to live your life. That is the best way to put it to these people. And when they get in your way, and that will be inevitable, you will have established yourself enough to where you can say no, get out of my way. You know, I just think, you know, not giving them the satisfaction will give you the confidence to, in the future, if something happens, fill you with the courage to put forth the no, get out of my road. I got to get to work. I got to take care of my family. You know, I got to get something to eat. I got to take a shit. You know, I mean, all of those things, I think all of those things can begin with not giving the prick the satisfaction. Personally. There's more to it. There's nuance, and I'm all about the nuance. I understand nuance. I'm crazy about nuance. You know, people that paint things in black and white are aggravating. And the people who don't come to terms with the fact that they've been painting things in two very solid colors, i.e. black and white, not off-white or ebony, but black and white. You know, the people that paint in those colors, the broad swaths that they do, they're horrible. And there's so much nuance and diversity and color, beautiful color out there to look at and see, you know, and to understand what happens to you in this home isn't happening to the person next door. The person next door is going through a totally different set of circumstances that you are not geared towards. So, you know, and that's just, I mean, I think that's just common sense to me, you know, the basic understanding that what happens here is not is not what's happening there. So, you know, unless they call out for help, I'm not going to barge into somebody else's house and tell them how to live. You know, and even if they do call out for help, I will be over there to help them, not to, I told you so them to death. So, but what are you going to do? I mean, you live your life by your way and try to allow other people the same courtesy. And that's a good step forward. And that's a lot to process, but that's my vibe check. That's my thing, I was going to actually do the Ozempic shot, but I don't know YouTube's policy on needles and injections, and I don't think, just probably showing a needle will set off alarms somewhere. So, I thought about it for a split second, but then I'm like, I don't think that's appropriate. And to be honest, a YouTuber should not be showing you that kind of a stuff. Your physician, your CNP, your doctor should be showing you how to do that stuff. Unfortunately, mine didn't. I had to, where should I poke this thing? And then the little paperwork gave a small description of where I should poke it in several different locations, one of them being under my arm back here. And I'm like, ow, and no. It took 2 or 3 weeks for me to work up the courage to put it in my stomach area, because I was putting it in my thighs and that seemed fine, but I'm like, is it different if it goes into the stomach? And to be honest, it's not. And it doesn't hurt because the needles are very small, very thin, and I have not hit a spot where any pain has happened. The only time there's been discomfort has been because the liquid inside of the needle is cold. Inside of the pen. The liquid inside of the pen is cold, and that cold going in can cause discomfort. But otherwise, it doesn't hurt. It's just the act of puncturing yourself with a needle, if you've never done it before, is incredibly hard to force yourself to do. I was lucky I was able to get it into my thigh after about 2 minutes of ing, you know what I mean? Indy knows, look at those ears perk up. He's like, what is wrong with you? So work on your health too. This is gonna be a time of a lot of people playing out a lot of scenarios in their heads as to the bad things that it might occur to them, and there's not much you can do about that. If you can swallow them down, please let me know how you do that. But I think the easiest thing for us to do right now is just try to focus on our own health and, again, outlive them, It might be the best thing that we can do right now. Somebody asked, I got another comment, which was nice. What do you think we're going to say about the situation in 2030? And I'm like, I have no idea. Quite frankly, after 2020, I never saw us in this situation again. But fair weather Democrats are going to fair weather Democrat. And will find any excuse not to elect a woman, let alone a black woman. So, I voted for her. I voted for Hillary, too. And I voted for, I voted for Bernie in the beginning when that was the thing. What was that, 2016? And then, I voted for Hillary after that because it's like, quite frankly, any port in a storm, and that was pretty much a storm. And now it's an even worse storm because we really don't learn anything. But, any port in a storm. So, would it have been more of the same? Possibly. So, and there's just a lot of different things that are popping up in my head that I remember people arguing about why they're, and it's just like, do you really care about that? Or is that just an excuse to not vote for a black woman? Really? Do you really care about these things that you are bringing up? Are these things incredibly... do you see these people as, Kamala Harris as someone who will not change her position if presented with new evidence or a new thought process, or maybe a position she didn't think about. Because I'll tell you what, Trump fucker ain't doing that. Ain't doing that one bit. Not a bit. So, I mean, but that's what we're doing now. That's what we're doing now. So, vibe check. Sorry. Checking the vibe. I'm sorry. I went into a place I didn't want to go today, but, you know, I don't think we can avoid these discussions. I don't think we can. It's just the way things are trending now. And I don't think we can not have these discussions. It has to be brought up. It would be nice. Well, I mean, I guess it was fruitless on my part, and I have started kicking myself when the whole debacle where I lost my job 2 years ago, they did come back and say, we want you back. And I feel like I should have said yes. Some days. Some days I do. It would have been hard for like the first maybe month or two because of the bitter taste in my mouth where they were like, we don't need you. We're going to let you go. We're going to let you and 5 to 10 of your fellow employees go because our shareholders need to be paid and we don't think your job is necessary. And then to turn around 3 months later and tell you we were wrong, your job is necessary. I mean, what do you say to that? Well, yeah, you didn't ask me if I felt it was necessary. You just handed me papers and said bye-bye. Did you ask me if that was necessary? Yeah. No, you didn't. I remember why you hired me. Because there was no time to do your job and this job that I've been hired to do. And then they made it worse because I think they laid off 2 people in that department that were also doing final packages for loans. And then everything started to get busy again. I hope they took their jobs back. I really do. Because, yeah, I mean, when she came back and said, we'll figure out how to do 50, I probably should have said yes. But ego and the feeling that they learned nothing, and the thought that if I returned without any kind of... It's weird. It's just weird that corporations like that are immune to punishment, immune to consequences. Because the only people that felt consequences were that department. Everybody else, business as usual. Oh, well, they're gone. I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, But then the department suffered greatly. I mean, if you got to come back to the people that you laid off and tell them we made a mistake, you are suffering greatly. Yeah, I mean, maybe I should have. Maybe I would be in better stead. But I don't know if we would have been able to go to Puerto Rico like we did. I don't know if we would have been able to go to Colombia like we did. I mean, I would have had probably plenty of vacation. Because they were just going to reinstate me, and it was going to be like nothing happened, which also bothered the hell out of me when she said. She'd be like, yeah, we'll just reinstate you, and it'd be like nothing happened. And I'm like, but something did happen. You laid me off and ruined a part of my life because you laid me off for something I cannot control. I was doing my job. Every single job review I had was stellar, exceeds, as they would say on their little check boxes. And, this was the thanks I get after almost 6 years. I get laid off. That's what I get for devotion. And I'm like, I can't come back if there are no lessons learned. And there were no lessons learned. Because she said, well, you can just come back and it's like nothing happened. That's not how human beings work. It's certainly not how I work. I hold grudges, Maybe not for very long, but boy, that wound was still open when they called me back to say, hey, come back and work for us again. If they called me back today, would I go in? I would. I think I would. And I realized that at this point, I've lost all of the skills that I had. They would just have to rely on my devotion and ability to learn quickly, to relearn the program, and then, understand that, I am, even though we are in a place now where I don't have the utmost trust for you, I would still put all of the effort that I had into the job that you gave me. I mean, that's never going to change. I'm always going to be that way. So, yeah, it's just, if they called me back today and said, hey, your job is available, are you interested? I would probably say yes. For a myriad of reasons. I'm over it, for one. I loved my job. It was tedious, but it was not hard. They would probably bump me down to sub 40K, but you know what? 38K a year is 38K a year. I'm under my husband's insurance, so I wouldn't need their insurance. So that's a little bit more money towards me. I probably wouldn't sign up for their 401k. I don't care who tells me what. It's still a scam. They're holding on to my money for decades, investing it, making money off of it. And I can't have it without penalty. And then you turn around and I can't use it until I'm old and decrepit. If I live that long, 401k is a scam. It just is. You are not guaranteed anything at the end. And even if you do get something, you might be too broken to use it. What's the point of that? I want the money now so that I can use it now, because I have things that I want to do now while I am still mobile. A job is not a career for me anymore. I'm 48 years old. A job is a means to get the vehicle I want, or get the vacation I want, or get the computer I want, get the phone I want, get the camera that I want to buy. I mean, that's the point of a job right now, is to do what I want to do. It's not a career anymore. Even if I were to go back into radio, that's not a career. Again, I would enjoy doing it, but I'm well past a career. It is a means to an end. You are now a means to an end. And that is how I perceive you. Though I will do everything in my power to do everything you need me to do, you are a means to an end. Smorey Time is so good. And I'm really kind of glad that we don't have to worry about those tariffs, I think, now. Coffee's going to be fine. And there was a panic, and there should have been panic. Immediate panic. There should have been panic. Everything that dude does should be taken seriously. I don't care if he reverses it 5 minutes later. Everything he does in the minute needs to be taken seriously, and it needs to be... situations need to come forth, and strategies need to be planned, and contingencies need to be made for the willy-nilly, wanton, numbnut lunacy we are seeing right now. And, and it's weird that the best thing we can hope for is that he goes through them like Pez. All of these people he's appointing, they do something wrong, and he fires them, and he finds someone else. The only thing we can hope for right now is mass chaos where nothing gets done. So, anyway. Vibe check. Oh, it's Smorey time. So thank you so much for watching today. I really appreciate it. Vibe check. I think we're good. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.